is United Nations Resident Coordinator to China, Mr. Siddharth Chatterjee. Do you think China's experience of eliminating the poverty and this whole rural revitalization can be implemented in other parts of the world?
Absolutely. We think there are three major lessons that the world could learn from China's poverty alleviation efforts. Firstly, the government of China has shown very strong political will to address poverty and taken its poverty alleviation at its top priority, mobilizing government, mobilizing officials, funding to identify and help people in need. Second, harnessing technology, poverty reduction. For example, making good use of e-commerce by linking farmers to the market to ensure we leave no one behind in the so-called fourth industrial revolution, which is unraveling here. And thirdly, strong partnerships involving private sector, governments, social organizations in poverty alleviation. Now, all these three are prerequisites if we want to increase the pace of doing this. And this is what I think lessons can be shared with many other developing countries in the world. Now, in the past years, the United Nations has worked closely with China to share its experiences with the world through the South-South cooperation and other initiatives to ensure that China's development assistance is in alignment with the SDGs. Now, currently, the UN has been supporting China in implementing around 60 development cooperation and assistance projects in more than 70 countries. Now, this is precisely why during the recent meeting with President Xi Jinping, which I had the privilege to join, the UN Secretary General, Mr. Antonio Guterres, underlined China's Global Development Initiative to support the implementation of the SDGs in other developing countries. Now, specifically developed within the South-South cooperation framework, the platform will look to match demand-driven priorities in the African continent with the supply side of resources, expertise, experiences from China, so that we can help to reduce poverty in the African countries, but also enable African countries to achieve their full potential. That is where we are going to see the future consumption and production happen. That is where by 2050, we will have a population of 2.5 billion people. That is where the Africa Free Trade Area is happening now. That is where Africa's vision of 2063 is going to happen. So I see this relationship, this nexus between China and Africa, where the UN is playing the role of a convener, connector, and a catalyzer is so crucial.
And I know you were among the audiences for the opening ceremony of the NPCs. What's your take of this year's China's two sessions?
I must at the outset say it was an incredible experience. It was my first time attending the two sessions, and it was quite a learning experience for me as to see how all elements of government, how all elements of society come together in the space of public policy. So now I attended the two sessions in the backdrop of major global challenges. Now, in today's turbulent world, humanity is confronting four critical crises. This is constantly reiterated by my boss, the UN Secretary General. We are seeing the continued impact, number one, of the COVID-19 pandemic. Number two, we are seeing a climate emergency. Number three, we are seeing rising conflicts all over the world. And number four, as a result of the COVID, we are also seeing widening inequalities emerge. Now, in this context, I have to say that the two sessions are an important symbol of peace, of stability, and development for China and the rest of the world. And the UN in China sees the two sessions as a key forum to advance the SDGs, as we hope that people, prosperity, and planet remain at the cornerstone of China's public policy.